I always thought betrayal came with warning signs. Shady glances, cold shoulders, missed calls. But with Lisa? Nah. That woman had betrayal down to an art, served it smiling, wrapped in silk, perfume, and a kiss on the cheek. You'd never suspect the poison in her smile unless you saw what I did. It was our 10th anniversary. 10 damn years. I took the day off work, bought her a platinum necklace that cost more than my first car, and planned the surprise of a lifetime, rose petals on the bed, wine chilling, her favorite dinner from that overpriced French place she loved. My name's Mark. And if there's one thing I regret, it's giving Lisa a decade of my life. I came home early. Quiet. Excited, honestly. I couldn't wait to see her face light up when she saw everything. But what I walked into changed me. Our bedroom door was slightly open. I heard noises first, muffled, breathy, unmistakable sounds. My chest went tight. I crept forward, still clinging to denial. Maybe she was watching something. Maybe she was sick. But the second I pushed that door open, all hope shattered. There she was. My wife. My so-called ride or die. Bent over the footboard of our bed, hair mess, laughing like a teenage girl while another man, some gym-built prick with tattoos and no shame, had his hands all over her. Our bed. The one we bought together after our honeymoon. The one we made memories in. The one where I thought we were a team. And she didn't even flinch when she saw me. No gasp. No covering up. No guilt. She looked right at me, smirked, and said, "You're home early." That's all. Not "I'm sorry." Not "Mark, wait." Just that. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just stood there, frozen in the doorway, watching the woman I loved turn into something else entirely, some shameless, stone-hearted creature I didn't recognize. The guy Jake or Josh or some douchey J-name had the nerve to grin at me while grabbing his pants. Lisa casually lit a cigarette like it was just another Tuesday. "You were supposed to be gone until 7, she said, stretching, completely nude, without a single care. Kind of rude to barge in. I almost laughed. Rude? Rude. She ruined everything. Years of loyalty. Love. Support. Nights I stayed up with her when her anxiety hit, mornings I brought her coffee, the time I sold my watch to help cover her mom's surgery. All of it flushed down the toilet with one sleazy, sweaty afternoon. I walked out. Couldn't breathe in that room. I didn't even take the car. Just kept walking down the block, fists clenched, heart racing. I called my brother, Nate, who's always been my rock. Told him everything. He drove over in minutes. "Mark," he said, eyes dark, "you're not going back in there. Not yet. Not like this." And he was right. I wasn't thinking straight. Rage had me shaking. But this wasn't just some one-night slip. No. Lisa had been lying. Sneaking. Hiding this. It wasn't just her cheating, it was the months, maybe years, of pretending. That night, I didn't go home. Nate took me in. I slept maybe 2 hours replaying it all. Her face. That smirk. That damn bed. The next morning, I went back while she was at work. Grabbed what I needed, documents, clothes, some cash. I found her phone hidden in a drawer with a second number. Burner style. And yeah, I opened it. Biggest mistake and biggest blessing I ever made. Photos. Videos. Messages. At least 4 different men. Some of them she labeled by emoji like she couldn't even remember their names. One text stuck out. "Don't worry, babe. Mark's clueless. He still thinks the kid's his." My blood ran cold. Our daughter. Lily. 7 years old. My little princess with those big green eyes. But Lisa, she wrote that like it was nothing. A week later, I got the DNA test done. Quietly. Secretly. Sent it out fast. When the results came, Lily wasn't mine. And just like that, my world didn't just crack, it collapsed. I didn't say a word to Lisa. I smiled. Acted normal. Even brought her flowers one evening like nothing happened. But inside, I was already planning her downfall. You want to know what epic revenge looks like? Stick around. Because this wasn't just a cheating wife story. It was the start of a reckoning. And I was going to burn her world to ash, one secret at a time. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after I got those DNA results. Just stared at the paper like it would change if I blinked hard enough. Probability of paternity, 0%. That was it. A damn statistic that cut deeper than any knife. I raised Lily. I held her first. I stayed up with her when she had night terrors. I taught her how to ride a bike, how to float in the pool. Every moment, every smile, now smeared with the ugly stain of betrayal. And Lisa? She just walked around like she owned the damn world. Wearing my last name like a mask. Acting like a queen when she was nothing more than a well-dressed fraud. I didn't confront her right away. That would have been too easy. Lisa thrived on drama. She liked screaming matches, liked flipping the script, turning things around on me. I wasn't giving her that satisfaction. I was going to hit her where it hurt most, her pride, her image, her lies. I started gathering evidence. Quietly. I went through her burner phone and screen recorded every disgusting message. Every selfie she sent to those losers, every video she recorded in our house while I was working late to pay the damn mortgage. I got everything, names, dates, locations. One of them was even a coworker of hers, a married guy named Brandon who sent her money for hotel expenses. It made me sick, but I couldn't stop. I needed every brick of proof. I wasn't just divorcing her. I was detonating everything she built with her lies. Then I did something that might make some men question my sanity. I took her out on a date. I kid you not. I booked a reservation at the steakhouse downtown. The one she always whined was too expensive unless someone else was paying. I dressed sharp, kept my smile ready, and when she stepped out in that red dress, the same one I'd seen her wear in one of the burner phone videos, I smiled like nothing was wrong. She didn't suspect a thing. Not even when I toasted to new beginnings. She clinked her glass to mine and said, "I'm glad we're getting past the weirdness. You've been so distant lately." Distant, right? Back home, I let her kiss me. Let her pull me into bed, try to play wife for a night. I kept my face blank. I didn't touch her the way she wanted. I just watched her. She got annoyed halfway through and snapped, "Are you even into this?" I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "I know." That shut her up fast. She sat up, brows furrowed. "No, what? You think you're slick, huh? You think I didn't notice the burner phone, the late-night drives, the hotel receipts you forgot to delete? You think I didn't notice my daughter isn't even mine?" Her face drained of color. For the first time in all this, she looked scared. I kept my voice calm. Too calm. "You've been treating me like a damn idiot, Lisa. Like a backup plan. A paycheck with a pulse." She scrambled off the bed. "Mark, wait. You're twisting everything. Lily is yours, emotionally at least. I mean, biology isn't everything, right? You're her dad, that's what matters." I laughed. Loud. Ugly. "So now I'm supposed to ignore the fact that while I was at work, you were in our bed with other men, and our daughter isn't mine, and I should just smile through it? Are you on something?" She switched tactics fast. "Lisa, always did. Okay, yes, I made mistakes. But you haven't been perfect either. You've been distant, cold. I was lonely, Mark." I grabbed the stack of printed messages from my drawer and tossed them at her feet. "Lonely? You weren't lonely. You were busy. Screwing half the zip code like it was a damn game." Her lip curled, and then she did what I knew she would have got nasty. "You want to act like you're the victim? Please. You were boring. Predictable. You haven't made me feel anything in years. And Lily? She doesn't need to know any of this. You think she'll love you when she finds out you're abandoning her?" That hit harder than I expected. But I held my ground. "She's not mine, Lisa. And I'm not going to keep living a lie because you couldn't keep your legs closed." She flinched. "Good." I stood up, grabbed my already packed bag, and headed for the door. She followed, screaming, crying, calling me cruel. "You're just going to walk out?" "No," I said without turning around. "I'm going to erase you. Completely." And I did. Phone? Blocked. Socials? Gone. I changed numbers, moved in with Nate for now, and started the paperwork the next morning. Divorce. Custody. A full DNA affidavit. I sent copies of everything to every man involved. One of them even called me in a panic. His wife had already found out. Let Lisa deal with the fire she lit. And I was just getting started. The first few days after I left felt like I was floating through someone else's life. I was moving, breathing, eating, but everything felt numb, like my emotions hadn't caught up to reality yet. Lisa tried calling at first, nonstop. Then she started texting. Messages full of twisted logic, guilt-tripping, fake apologies mixed with venom. She knew she was losing control and it was tearing her apart. Good. She deserved to spiral. She built her world on lies, let her drown in them now. I didn't respond. Not once. Not even when she messaged me at 3 a.m. saying Lily missed me, that she cried asking where I was. That one almost broke me. But I reminded myself Lily wasn't mine. Not biologically, not legally. And if Lisa had an ounce of maternal instinct, she wouldn't have dragged her child into this disaster to begin with. She wanted to use Lily as a shield, as leverage. The kid didn't even know who her real father was. I considered filing for a paternity fraud suit just to make Lisa squirm even harder. I spent my time rebuilding. Rethinking everything. My lawyer, Mr. Simmons, an older guy who'd seen every kind of infidelity case, was a godsend. "You're not the first man to be burned," he told me, "but you can be one of the few who gets justice." And that stuck with me. I wasn't going to let Lisa slither out of this like she always did. First, we filed for divorce. No negotiations. No compromises. Full exposure. I handed Simmons the burner phone contents, every message, video, and timestamped betrayal. His jaw clenched as he scrolled. "She's toast," he said. Second, I filed a formal complaint to Lisa's workplace. Brandon, the married coworker, was apparently in a managerial position. I sent the messages between them directly to HR, anonymously, along with photos. Within 48 hours, both of them were suspended. Corporate called it pending investigation, but I knew what that meant. And the best part? Lisa had been up for a promotion. It vanished like smoke. I didn't stop there. I tracked down 2 of the other men, single guys, cocky in their texts, talking about how she'd sneak out while I was asleep. I made burner social media accounts and sent screenshots to their families, friends, anyone close. One of them lost his girlfriend. Another? His mother called me and apologized for how he was raised. It was petty, sure. But damn if it didn't feel good to rip their masks off. Meanwhile, Lisa kept spiraling. Mutual friends started texting me. "Dude, she's telling everyone you went crazy. She's saying you're abusive, that you left Lily high and dry." The lies never stopped. She needed to control the narrative, make herself the victim. So I gave her a dose of her own medicine. I scheduled a meeting with her in public, neutral ground. A cafe near downtown. She didn't know I'd invited a few people to sit nearby, mutual friends who still weren't sure what to believe. I needed witnesses. She showed up dressed like she was going on a date, all done up, lips glossy, hair curled. The fake charm was plastered across her face. "Mark," she purred, sliding into the seat, "you look like hell." "Funny," I said, sipping my coffee. I thought betrayal aged worse. She laughed, tried to brush it off. "Can we stop playing games? Lily misses you. I miss you. We can fix this." I slid the folder across the table. "What's this?" she asked, opening it. "Everything," I said flatly. "Every man. Every message. Every lie. Plus the DNA results, in case you forgot. And copies of the documents I sent to HR. Brandon says hi, by the way." Her face morphed shock, then rage, then something close to panic. "You think this will ruin me? You think you're some big hero now?" "No," I said, standing. "I'm not a hero. I'm just the last man who trusted you. And now I'm gone." I walked out and left her sitting there with her fake lashes and trembling hands, surrounded by people she thought would believe her side of the story. Not anymore. I cut contact with everyone tied to her. Deleted mutual friends, changed my number again. They'd helped me move into a small apartment just for now. It was quiet, plain, but peaceful because it had no lies in it. No pretending. Just silence and space to breathe. I still thought about Lily sometimes. Not as my daughter, but as a little girl caught in a storm she never asked for. Maybe one day, when she's older, she'll find the truth. Maybe she'll reach out. But right now? She was Lisa's responsibility. Not mine. People like Lisa think they're untouchable. That they can lie, cheat, gaslight, and still come out clean. But every lie has a shelf life. Every mask eventually slips. And when it did, I wasn't there to catch her fall. I was already gone. It's strange, the things you notice once your world's been turned upside down. I used to wake up and hear the buzz of Lisa's hairdryer, smell her overpowering perfume from down the hall. Now I woke up to silence. A silence that didn't demand answers or hide poison behind a smile. I didn't miss her. I didn't miss her presence, her touch, her voice. I missed the version of her I made up in my head, the woman I thought I married. The one who never really existed. Lisa still didn't give up. Even after everything. Even after I'd ghosted her, humiliated her at that cafe, and scorched the remains of her reputation. She tried new tactics. Some subtle emails with subject lines like, "Please, for Lily." Some insane calling Nate and telling him she was pregnant. That one had me laughing for 5 straight minutes. Nate was done with her too. "Dude," he said, shaking his head, "if she says the sky's blue, I'm checking the damn weather app." Then came the real twist, the one that made me realize she still hadn't hit rock bottom. I got served. Yup. She filed a petition to contest paternity. Wanted to legally challenge the DNA test. Claimed I forged it. Said I faked everything, hacked her phone, even photoshopped the screenshots. She wanted child support, half the house, alimony. She threw the whole sink at me. I sat across from Simmons in disbelief. "She's insane." He nodded calmly. "She's desperate. Her reputation's shot. Her job? Gone. She's looking for the last lifeline, and you're it." So we prepared for war. The court date was set. I was more nervous for that than anything I'd felt in my entire life. Not because I was scared of losing, it was also obviously in my favor, but because I knew Lisa would play dirty. She'd lie under oath without flinching. That was her skill. That fake sincerity, those crocodile tears. The courtroom smelled like dust and stress. Lisa walked in wearing a muted gray suit, no makeup, hair tied back like some saintly mother. She even brought Lily, sitting her down in the back row with a babysitter. Strategic? Cold? The judge asked for statements. Her lawyer went first, some smug, smooth-talking guy named Ellis who tried spinning the narrative like I'd abandoned them out of the blue. Mr. Carter, he said, acted erratically and cruelly. He ghosted his family, fabricated evidence, and left a child who knows him as her father without warning or support. I didn't say a word. Simmons stood up, calm as ever, and laid it all out. Your Honor, he said, placing a thick binder on the stand, we have verifiable DNA test results from an accredited lab, establishing Mr. Carter is not the biological father. We have copies of communications from multiple romantic partners Ms. Carter maintained throughout the marriage, many overlapping. We also have evidence of her attempt to defame and discredit my client professionally and personally. The judge looked through the papers, took her time. Lisa shifted in her seat, eyes darting like a rat trapped in a glass box. She wasn't used to being cornered. Then came the final blow. I stood up holding a flash drive. Your Honor, I said, I'd like to submit a video as evidence. The judge allowed it. The bailiff plugged it in. The screen flickered and there it was. One of the videos from the burner phone. Lisa, in our house. In our bedroom. With Brandon. Laughing. Moaning. Calling him daddy. You could have heard a pin drop. Ellis tried to object, but it was too late. The judge had seen enough. I don't think there's any ambiguity here, she said. This court acknowledges the DNA results. Mr. Carter has no legal or financial responsibility to the child. Furthermore, this case borders on malicious prosecution. Ms. Carter, I suggest you speak with your attorney about the consequences of filing further false claims. Lisa's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Just pure, unfiltered defeat. That night, I drove past the house, my old house, one last time. Her car wasn't in the driveway. Maybe she was out trying to seduce another man into rescuing her. Maybe she was just hiding. I didn't care. I didn't even feel hatred anymore. Just pity. It was all over. A week later, I closed on a new place. Smaller. Quieter. No echoes of lies clinging to the walls. I started working out again, picked up guitar lessons, even started talking to someone new. Her name was Rachel. Smart. Direct. Honest. At least I hoped so. I was cautious now. My heart had scars and they still stung when touched. But I wasn't afraid of the future anymore. Lisa? I heard she moved back in with her sister. Jobless. Friendless. Broke. She messaged me one last time. A long, rambling text about how everyone makes mistakes and maybe we were just too different. I read it. I didn't reply. She didn't deserve closure. She deserved silence. The silence after the storm is the loudest thing you'll ever hear. When all the shouting's done, the lies exposed, the bridges burned, you're just left with yourself. And for the first time in months, maybe even years, I actually started hearing me again. Not the version of myself that tried to keep Lisa happy. Not the exhausted husband trying to fix a marriage made of ash. Just me. It had been about 3 months since the court made its ruling. I was officially divorced. Lisa's petition got thrown out so hard, her own lawyer dropped her afterward. No one wanted to touch her mess. She was radioactive now. The queen of manipulation reduced to a name people whispered with disgust. I blocked her everywhere. Phone, email, socials. But every now and then I'd get screenshots from old mutual friends, more like ex-friends now. She was still out there spinning her web. Posting selfies with captions like, strong women rebuild after betrayal, or some men fear a powerful woman so they try to break her. It would be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. I thought about clapping back publicly. Telling the whole world the truth in one explosive post. But I didn't. I didn't need to anymore. Lisa lived for the drama, attention was her oxygen. And I was done giving her any air. Meanwhile, life was moving forward. Slow, steady, but real. I finally unpacked the last box in my apartment. It was filled with old wedding photos, anniversary cards, even a scrapbook Lisa had made during our first year. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just stared at it for a long moment, then dropped the whole thing in the trash. That man in the tux smiling at the woman in white, that wasn't me. That was a fool in love with a fantasy. The real me had clawed his way back from the grave Lisa buried him in. I focused on work again. My boss, Dana, had been unbelievably supportive through it all. She offered me a lead position on a new project, said she noticed a fire in me she hadn't seen before. I took it. Poured myself into it. Hours passed like minutes when I was building something, solving problems, creating, instead of unraveling the chaos Lisa left behind. And then there was Rachel. We'd met through a friend of Nate's. She was a nurse, tough as nails but with a wicked sense of humor. The first time we got coffee, she called me out instantly. "You've got that freshly burned look," she said, smirking over her latte. "Let me guess, cheating ex? Narcissist?" Thought she was smarter than everyone. I blinked. All of the above. We laughed. It felt good to laugh. Rachel didn't ask for all the details at once. She didn't push. But when I told her about the DNA test, the lies, the affair with Brandon, even the court case, she didn't flinch. She just looked at me and said, "Damn. You didn't survive a storm, you walked through fire. You ever need to talk, I'm not afraid of smoke." She was different. Calm. Genuine. When she said something, she meant it. And when she touched me, it didn't feel like manipulation, it felt like grounding. Still, I took it slow. My walls weren't just up, they were reinforced with concrete and barbed wire. But she didn't try to climb them. She just stood outside, waiting patiently, proving every day that she wasn't Lisa. One night, we were sitting on my balcony, city lights flickering below, and she asked, "Do you regret it? Marrying her?" I thought for a long time. "No," I said finally. "Because without that mess, I wouldn't know what peace feels like now. I wouldn't know what self-respect really is. Pain teaches you things comfort never will." She nodded. "You're not broken, you know?" "I'm better," I said. Lisa, on the other hand, wasn't done. She sent a letter. Handwritten. No return address. It landed in my mailbox like a relic from a life I'd buried. I stood there holding it, debating whether to open it. Curiosity got the best of me. Inside was a single page. Her handwriting shaky, uneven. "I hope you're happy now. You got what you wanted. I lost everything. But I still think about you. About us. If things were different, maybe we could have fixed it. No apology. No ownership. Just more guilt-tripping, more me. I didn't even finish reading it. I set it on fire in the kitchen sink and watched it curl into ash. Some people never change. Lisa wasn't sorry, she was just sorry she lost. And me? I didn't lose a wife. I lost a parasite. A liar who used love as a weapon. And now that she was out of my life for good, I could finally breathe. A few months after the letter, just when I thought Lisa had finally exhausted her bag of tricks, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I was in the middle of a late-night grocery run, debating between two brands of cereal when my phone buzzed. Normally, I'd ignore it, but something told me to pick up. "Hello? Ethan, it's Brandon." I froze. My body tensed like a bowstring. The sound of his voice brought back the memory of that video, him in my bed, grinning like a damn fool, touching my wife. "What the hell do you want?" There was a pause. Then a sigh. He sounded defeated. "Look, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I need to talk to you. It's about Lisa." That got my attention, despite myself. I'm not interested in hearing her lies from a different mouth. She's pregnant. I almost dropped the box of cereal. "Excuse me." "Yeah," he said, voice tight. "She says it's mine. But after everything, I don't trust a damn word she says anymore. And I'm not going down the same road you did." I didn't respond. My brain was firing in a dozen directions at once. "She showed up at my place last week," he continued. Crying. Saying I abandoned her. That I owe her this baby because I ruined her life. But something's off, man. She's acting like she's lost her mind. "She has lost her mind," I said flatly. "You're just late to the show." Brandon asked me if I still had the contact info for the lab I used for the DNA test. I gave it to him. Not because I wanted to help him, but because I wanted Lisa to be exposed again. If she was lying about this, she deserved to fall even lower than she already had. A week later, Brandon texted me a photo of the lab results, 0% probability of paternity. I laughed out loud when I saw it. He called again, this time angrier. "She's insane. She's playing games with everyone. I swear to God, she told me she was pregnant just to get me back. She even faked the first test. Used someone else's ultrasound photos." "Yeah," I said. "Welcome to my world." He was quiet for a moment. "You think she'll ever stop?" "No," I said. "She doesn't know how. She doesn't live in reality. She just uses people until they break." We hung up, and that was the last I heard from him. Part of me hoped he learned his lesson. Part of me didn't care. The truth was, I had already started seeing Lisa as more of a cautionary tale than a person. A living example of what happens when someone weaponizes love, truth, and vulnerability for their own gain. But something shifted after that call. It was like the final string that tied me to the mess had snapped. I didn't even feel anger anymore. No rage. No need for revenge. Just a clean emptiness, like when you finally toss out all the clutter in your garage and stand in the space that's left behind. I filled that space with better things. Rachel and I had grown close. We weren't rushing anything, no moving in, no big declarations. Just simple, honest connection. She wasn't the rebound. She was the reminder that not every woman wears a mask. She didn't try to fix me. She just stood beside me and let me heal on my own timeline. One night, while we were cooking dinner, she asked me if I'd ever go back and change it, meeting Lisa, marrying her, the whole mess. No, I told her. Because it taught me how to protect myself. How to see people clearly. And how to never beg someone to love me again. She smiled at that. Not one of those polite smiles. A real one. The kind that reaches the eyes. Later that week, I got a Facebook message from someone I hadn't heard from in years, Kendra, one of Lisa's old college friends. She said she was sorry for everything I'd gone through, that none of them had known the full story, and most of them had cut Lisa off after the truth came out. But it was her last line that really hit me. We always wondered how someone like you ended up with someone like her. Now we know you were the only real thing in her life, and she didn't know what to do with it. I sat with that for a while. I wasn't perfect. I had ignored red flags. Tried too hard to fix things that were never mine to fix. I let love blind me until I couldn't tell the difference between devotion and self-destruction. But I came out the other side. Stronger. Smarter. Free. Lisa didn't destroy me. She revealed me. And the man she tried to bury? He's not just alive. He's thriving. A full year had passed since the divorce was finalized. A whole damn year. Sometimes it felt like a decade. Sometimes it still felt like yesterday. Time has this weird way of folding over itself when trauma's involved. One minute you're sipping coffee in peace, and the next, you smell her perfume in a crowd and your stomach knots like it's happening all over again. But here's the thing, I wasn't haunted anymore. Not by Lisa. Not by Brandon. Not even by the broken man I used to be. I was rebuilding. Quietly. Without announcements or social media updates. Just one day at a time. Rachel and I had gotten closer, but we were doing it right. No masks. No games. Just brutal honesty. When I had a rough day, I told her. When I wasn't ready to talk, she didn't press. And when she said she wasn't perfect, I didn't expect her to be. That's real love. The kind that doesn't suffocate. The kind you don't have to beg for. But of course, peace doesn't mean the past forgets you. Sometimes it just waits in the shadows. It was a Sunday morning. I was heading out to meet Rachel for brunch when I got a knock on my door. Not a package. Not a neighbor. A knock. I opened it and nearly choked on my breath. Lisa. Standing there like she hadn't torn my life to shreds and pissed on the remains. Her hair was a mess, dark circles under her eyes, makeup smeared like she hadn't slept in days. She looked wrecked. Good. What the hell do you want? I said flatly. Her eyes welled up. I just need to talk. I crossed my arms. You lost the privilege a long time ago. Please, Ethan, she whispered. Just 5 minutes. I should have slammed the door. But something, morbid curiosity, maybe made me step aside and let her in. She sat on the edge of my couch like a stranger in a waiting room, wringing her hands. I'm not here to start drama, she began. I know I've done horrible things. I said nothing. Just stared. Let her sit in that guilt. She looked up at me. I lied about the pregnancy. I lied about a lot. I didn't know how to stop. Every time I thought I hit rock bottom, I just dig deeper. No kidding. I lost everything, Ethan, she said, her voice cracking. Friends. Family. Brandon cut me off. My job fired me after the HR mess. I've been couch surfing for months. I clenched my jaw. And you think coming here is going to fix that? She shook her head. No. I need you to know I'm sorry. Truly. I didn't come for sympathy or help. I just wanted to say it. To your face. I stared at her for a long time. This was the woman who weaponized my trust. Who played me like a damn puppet and thought she was the puppet master. And now she was reduced to this. I should have felt triumphant. Vindicated. But I didn't. I just felt done. You used me, I said, voice low. Gaslit me. Slept with someone in my own house. Lied to my face every single day. And when I finally stood up for myself, you acted like you were the victim. There's nothing you can say that will undo any of that. I know, she whispered. I walked over to the door and opened it. Then we're done here. She stood, defeated, eyes red. Can you ever forgive me? I looked her straight in the eyes. No. She left. No more theatrics. No dramatic monologue. Just silence. I shut the door and leaned against it for a second, letting the weight of it all settle. That was the last chapter. The real one. Not the revenge, not the DNA test, not the courtroom drama. This moment, her crawling back and me turning her away, was the true ending. I told Rachel about it later that night. She nodded, listened, then asked, "How do you feel?" "Free," I said. "Finally free." Weeks passed, then months. The seasons changed. Leaves fell, snow came and melted, spring bloomed again. Life was normal, beautiful in its simplicity. One afternoon, I got a call from a private investigator I had hired last year to look into Lisa's finances during the divorce. I'd forgotten to cancel his services after the court case ended. "Thought you might want to know," he said. "Your ex-wife? She tried to apply for a mortgage under your name last month. Used old documents." I should have been surprised. But I wasn't. The woman just didn't stop. The PI reported her. Legal action was taken. She faced charges. And I didn't even have to lift a finger. That was the final twist. Lisa destroyed herself. And me? I built something better from the ashes. Not just a new relationship. Not just peace. But me. Whole. Grounded. Unapologetically alive. The last time I ever saw Lisa was in a courthouse hallway 6 months after she tried using my identity for that mortgage scam. She was in a gray pantsuit that hung awkwardly on her now thin frame. Hair limp, eyes vacant. She looked like a ghost wearing a costume of who she used to be. She didn't even look at me. Just kept her head down, shuffling behind her lawyer like an inmate on borrowed time. I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel hate either. I felt nothing. The kind of nothing that takes years to earn. The kind of nothing that means you finally let go. She pled out, took a reduced sentence with probation and fines. Her parents bailed her out again. I didn't follow up on what happened next. I didn't care anymore. I had finally fully moved on. My life now? Peaceful. Solid. No fireworks. Just that rare kind of calm you don't realize you need until you've been through hell. I bought a house outside the city, quiet neighborhood, big backyard, lots of trees. I work remote now, no more soul-sucking commutes. I grill on Sundays. I read in silence. I laugh without wondering who's laughing behind my back. Rachel's still here. Still patient. Still real. Some nights, she'll lean her head on my chest and whisper, "I'm proud of you," and I know she means it. She saw the worst parts of me and never ran. I never asked her to fix me and she never tried. We just grew. Together. Some people romanticize forgiveness. Say you need it to heal. That you have to let people back in to prove you've moved on. I call bullshit. You don't have to forgive someone who burned your life to the ground. You don't owe your abuser closure. You don't need to give a second chance to someone who took your love and crushed it like a beer can on a Friday night. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Sometimes ghosting someone is the revenge. Not because you want to hurt them, but because your silence screams that they don't matter anymore. That their chaos doesn't live rent-free in your head. Lisa will spin her lies to someone else. She'll play her games until no one shows up to play. She's a broken record trying to trick people into thinking the tune's still catchy. But me? I'm the man who escaped. And if you're reading this, if you're in the middle of that nightmare, or just clawing your way out, I want you to hear this next part loud and clear. You are not weak for loving someone who hurt you. You are not broken because you got fooled. You are not less of a man because you cried, doubted yourself, or stayed too long. You are human. And real men don't hide their pain, they face it, tear through it, and come out stronger on the other side. So when she lies to your face and gaslights you into doubting your own memory, trust yourself. When she calls you controlling because you ask questions she doesn't want to answer, stand your ground. When the world tells you to man up and move on quickly, take your time. Feel every ounce of betrayal. Let it burn. Let it build you. And when it's finally over, when you've cut the cord, slammed the door, and deleted the photos, don't look back. She already took enough. Let her wonder where you went. Let her choke on your absence. Let your ghost be louder than her screams. Because the best revenge isn't just walking away. It's building a life so full, so peaceful, so damn good, that the person who tried to destroy you doesn't even exist in it. Not even as a memory. That's how you win. That's how you heal. And that, my brother, is how you ghost a monster. Forever.